My name is Dan Roxbury. I am an assistant professor of chemical engineering at the University of Rhode Island, and I run the nanobioengineering laboratory at URI. My Rhode Island-INBRE research focuses on the diagnosis and treatment of cancer. In our lab, we are developing carbon nanotube-based sensors for the early detection of various different types of diseases. One of the future applications would be in the development of some type of wearable sensor, which at-risk patients could wear that would monitor in real time the presence of a disease biomarker. It would alert a physician, and then the patient could be treated appropriately. Rhode Island-INBRE has been very instrumental getting my lab off the ground and running. They've been very helpful in funding not only my students, but also in purchasing equipment and supplies. They've really helped in my development, in my career. Without funding from the Rhode Island-INBRE, the research in my lab wouldn't be at the stage of success that it is currently. The fact that institutions have this type of funding source is crucial. Rhode Island-INBRE has been integral in the development of not only the research that's being performed in my lab, but also in the growth of my students. I see in terms of undergraduate growth, where they want to take their career after they graduate, but also in terms of my graduate students. It's really giving them the opportunities, the supplies, the facilities available to further their research.
My name is Father Nicanor Austriaco, and I'm a professor of biology and theology here at Providence College. INBRE has given me the capacity to run an undergraduate research laboratory for the last 14 years, where my students and I are using yeast cells as model organisms to study cancer and Parkinson's disease. The hope is that we'll be able to take the results of our basic bench work, and who knows, maybe in 5 years or so, we'll be able to identify a new drug that would help patients overcome their disease. When I first arrived here 14 years ago, we really didn't have that much of a research infrastructure at Providence College, and I think I attribute Rhode Island-INBRE for a significant amount of support and funding that allowed not just myself, but my colleagues in the department to really build up an infrastructure that would allow us to train undergraduates that could go on to some of the very best labs in the world. And that's done here, right in little Rhode Island. You don't have to go to Boston, you don't have to go to New York. You can get some really good undergraduate research training right here in the state. There are two very specific ways that INBRE helped me in my career here at Providence College. So the first way is that when I was an assistant professor, I just started here. INBRE provided me significant financial support in order for me to establish the laboratory and to accomplish the experiments that gave me the preliminary data that formed the foundation for my first federal grant. And we have now since received 2 grants from the National Institutes of Health, and none of this would have been possible without that initial really robust funding from INBRE in order for me to set up the laboratory. Secondly, Rhode Island-INBRE has been supporting my students through the Summer Undergraduate Research Fellowship Program. The Rhode Island-INBRE program provides us funding so that I can basically hire, in this case, 4 students. So they work full-time in my lab trying to pursue research objectives that we set for ourselves. INBRE allows us to have these full-time students here who do not have to worry about getting another job to pay for college.
Thanks to Rhode Island-INBRE, we have exciting research happening here at Rhode Island College. My name is Jamie Towle-Weicksel. My Rhode Island-INBRE research focuses on a protein that's involved in repairing DNA damage. Specifically, this protein repairs UV damage that's caused by the sun. What we have found is that patients that develop melanoma have mutations in this protein. So our ultimate goal is to use our research to develop more effective treatments for melanoma. Without Rhode Island-INBRE funding, this research program would not exist. It allows us to have equipment and instrumentation and supplies. My research in DNA repair has led me to find Professor Sarah Delaney at Brown University.
Ri-INBRE is supporting a collaborative project between Professor Towle-Weiksel's lab at Rhode Island College and my lab at Brown University. I will come visit Jamie and her students in their labs here at Rhode Island College, and we'll talk about results and think about experiments going forward.
Having Sarah as part of our research team allows us to get another perspective of our data and in our data interpretation.
Jamie and some of her students are going to be coming and spending some time in my lab at Brown this summer, and I'm looking forward to some of that work and being able to host them.
These experiences are really important for students because it provides them with the opportunity to do cutting-edge research. They are able to expand their academic experience as well as gain the skills that they need to get a job once they leave Rhode Island College. Without this funding, many students would have to go elsewhere in order to get the same experience.